It's Ryan Seacrest here. People always say it's good to unwind, but that's easier said than done. The exception, Chumba Casino. They actually make it easier done than said, or at least the same. Chumba Casino is an online social casino with hundreds of casino-style games like slots and blackjack. Play for fun. Play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sign up now and collect your free welcome bonus at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
A missing 14-year-old girl is found inside a barracks at San Diego's Camp Pendleton. A child molester, Larry Nasser, is stabbed 10 times during a fight in a Florida prison, and the prime suspect in the 1982 Tylenol murders is found dead in his home. These stories and more are coming at you today, Thursday, July 13th, on Real Life Real Crime Daily, and I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agovino. What do you say, boys?
What's up,
Happy
fellas?
Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Crime
right?
Thursday.
No lack of crime on a Thursday.
Right?
Actually, I think crime's down a little bit because the whole country's flooded. I don't know if you've been watching the Weather Channel. I know Woody's a big fan of the Weather Channel. Watch the Weather Channel?
I have not watched it.
It's raining everywhere, man.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even been watching TV.
It's raining lots.
Yeah? Well, my ponds are lower than shit. Like lower.
It ain't raining a lot here. Yeah, we kind of like
my
it.
garden is sucking. And I've been raining the sprinkler on it a whole lot.
Yeah.
Doesn't help.
Painting a turtle out in the field and stuff like that.
Something tells me that'll even out.
Yeah, maybe so.
Soon.
We're going to get into some Thursday crime right now.
Lay it on it. Love y'all.
A 14-year-old girl was found in the barracks at a California Marine Corps base known as Camp Pendleton. 2 weeks after her grandmother in San Diego reported that she ran away from home, and a Marine was detained for questioning. The Marine has since been released of his command while federal law enforcement officials investigate. He is identified as Marine Captain Charles Palmer of the 1st Marine Logistics Group at Camp Pendleton, about 40 miles north of San Diego. It was unclear how the girl and the Marine came into contact before military police found her in the barracks during the day. According to the San Diego Sheriff's Department, her grandmother reported her missing and told authorities she had run away from home 4 days earlier. The grandmother told the deputy who interviewed her that the girl had run away before, but only for brief periods. The teen's information was entered into multiple missing person databases, including the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. After she was found on the base, authorities returned the girl to her grandmother. The case has been handed over to the Naval Criminal Investigative Service, NCIS, and the spokesman Jeff Houston said that no arrest have been made and no one has been charged in the case formally thus far.
Yeah, well, DiNozzo will figure out who did it.
He did say the Marine was detained for questioning and released back to his command, and the Sheriff's Department and the San Diego Human Trafficking Task Force are assisting in the investigation. And the interesting thing about this, and I know, Woody, you've been on many bases as well. Yeah. When you're on a military base, it's pretty hard to get in there. It is. Yeah. These are like little cities, especially Camp Pendleton.
Definitely being checking. You're not getting in without your ID.
So how a 14-year-old girl that's reported missing ends up...
He might have hit her in the trunk or something.
Yeah.
Like that, but you better believe that he's going to say, oh, I thought she was 18 or whatever. He's still got issues. The deal being is the military, they say, is released back to his command. I bet he's on, special selective duty or whatever before they come and charge his ass under the...
Yeah, they're just building evidence
military code
at this
of justice.
point.
Yeah, I'll take you to an absolutely heartbreaking story. A teenage Vermont police officer was killed and 2 others were injured when a burglary suspect crashed into their police car during the pursuit. And y'all, the only reason I'm gonna get her name right is because Ago spelt it out for me in that hooked on phonics way, but it's Officer Jessica I would have said Ebigenhausen, but he has it spelled out as Abighausen. So that's her name. She was a 19-year-old rookie on the Rutland Force, and she died Friday afternoon in the crash. She and the other officers had been chasing a truck driven by Tate Ream, 20, who had attempted to break into a house. Ream's vehicle apparently jumped the center line median and collided head-on with Jessica's cruiser. The truck then smashed into another police vehicle. Jessica was pronounced dead at the scene. The 19-year-old began working as a part-time officer at the department just 2 months ago and was scheduled to begin her full-time training at the Vermont Police Academy in August. The city's police chief, Ryan Kilcullen, said Friday she always had a smile on her face, and we were looking forward to having her as part of our family. Jessica, he added, was the granddaughter of former police commission chairman Robert Ebighausen and had wanted to be a police officer since the age of 9. Flowers and messages piled up outside the Rutland City Police Department in memory of the young officer, and Kilcullen said that the state police conducted an investigation into the fatal accident. The 2 injured officers were taken to area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Multiple charges have been filed against Ream, including the grossly negligent operation of a motor vehicle with death resulting and attempting to elude with death resulting. So our hearts go out to everyone who knew and loved her and all her brothers and sisters that wear the badge. Lieutenant Colonel Jim Whitcomb of the Vermont State Police said during a press conference that speed and substance abuse were being looked into as a factor for the crash. She wasn't driving this cruiser, obviously by herself. She's doing a ride along. And when I started my rookie police career, I had to do that before I went to the academy, and she was unfortunate that it happened. And God bless her for being a hero. And may Jessica rest in peace.
Yeah, and we always talk about car chases. You know, you worry about innocent people getting killed, but you never think about the police officers that are chasing too. You know, that's an unsafe situation for everybody.
Yeah, it's just a horrible tragedy.
Well, and that's an area where it's pretty sparsely populated, so maybe they let them do more chasing than they might in a more crowded city, whatever.
I bet they will now.
But for her to be a trainee and barely on the job, and
want to do it since 9 years old. Wow.
Bad. Well, we'll go from bad to worse, because after we talked about some of the 4th of July mass shootings around the country, I saw something come out with some mid-year stats on overall mass shootings in the U.S., and I decided to compile some stats and give you guys a little bit of a half-year report, let's call it, on 2023. So just to refresh your memory, because this isn't going to be all murders or all shootings, these stats all refer to mass shootings, which are defined as an event where an attacker kills or injures multiple individuals simultaneously using a firearm. Okay, so I've broken out a number of categories that we can take a look at, and first is states. So I ranked the number of people killed in mass shootings by states and the top 5 states in the country. Anybody got a guess on number 1?
Texas.
Winner. Texas is first with 46. California right behind at 45. Florida 28. Tennessee 25. That was a little bit of a surprise, although we know we won very well. And Illinois 5th at 24. Not a surprise.
I would have, it does surprise me. I would have guessed Florida and they're well behind Texas on that. But Texas has had a few back to back in the last really couple of months.
Yeah, and California had a couple of biggies within days of each other in January.
True.
But then number of people injured in mass shootings. Once again, Texas first with 142, California 114, Illinois 109, Louisiana 100,
Shocking.
Right.
and Maryland 93 is the top 5 for people injured in shootings.
So, and I want to remind
Mass
listeners
shootings.
again, we're talking about mass shootings. That's right.
Yeah.
This is not your regular, shoot 2 people or 1 person, whatever. Mass shootings.
It's an attacker killing or injuring multiple individuals simultaneously using a firearm. Cities with the largest number killed or injured in mass shootings. So this is a combination of people killed and or people injured in mass shootings. Number 1,
I say Chicago.
75. And to your point, this doesn't include a gangland murder in the hood on Saturday night. These are mass shootings. Second, anybody?
Baltimore.
Baltimore, second at 72. My favorite city. Philadelphia is third at 52. This next one absolutely shocked me. Shreveport, Louisiana is number 4 with 45 people killed or injured in mass shootings.
Take that per capita.
It's
Shreveport against
off the charts.
Chicago?
It's off the charts.
Shreveport against Baltimore? Shreveport against
what is going
Philly?
on in Shreveport,
Memphis?
Louisiana?
Shreveport's not a quarter the size of those places.
Absolutely. I mean, so you do that, it's far and away the most likely
If they do
city of any consequence in the United States.
Shreveport would be number 1.
So
That
really
is shocking.
frightening. And it's not, there wasn't one event that where tons and tons of people were killed and injured. There's like 6 separate events throughout the year. 5th is Memphis on that list at 42. As far as the single largest events in terms of killings for the year so far, the first is that Monterey Park, California, if you remember, where the gunman killed 11 people and injured 9 others at that dance studio.
Right.
That was back in January. That was 11 people. You'll all remember the Allen, Texas,
Unfortunately.
which was the outlet mall shooting, which, I think you can't mention that without mentioning how bad that would have been had the cops not behaved. And they just released like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, the body cam footage of that one officer. And he is in the middle of a conversation and you can actually hear it.
I saw that.
He hears it, and I mean,
Jets.
He is in a dead sprint toward the source of the noise instantly. No telling how many people that guy saved that day. Third is Enoch, Utah. Remember the wonderful Michael Haight family where the guy killed his entire family, 7 people, including himself. Half Moon Bay, which again, California, I think it was just a day or 2 after the shooting outside of L.A. in Monterey Park. This is up by San Francisco, and this was a workplace violence situation, sort of a grievance between migrant community workers. The killer there was 66, and the one in Monterey Park was in his 70s, 72. Crazy. Then the Covenant Christian School shooting outside of Nashville, where my former Vandy friend Kathy Kuntz was the head of school and killed. 6 were killed that day.
She's another hero.
Absolutely. Goshen, California, which is where the execution-style killings of alleged cartel gang members happened. That was also back in January. I mean, January in California was just a bloodbath. Henrietta, Oklahoma, the end of April. This was the whole Jesse McFadden story, which we told on the show. The horrible story where the parents thought the kids were having a sleepover. And one in the last one where 6 people were killed or were injured was in Arcobutla, Mississippi on February 17th, where this guy, Richard Dale Crum, went on a shooting spree. I don't really remember that story.
Seems like we would have had that.
That one surprised me. The most injuries overall in one event, I noted 3 of them. The Dadeville, Alabama, which was that small town Sweet 16 party, if you guys remember. Terrible story. The story we just talked about the other day, the festival shooting in Baltimore on the 2nd of July, where 27 people were injured. And there was also a Juneteenth celebration in just outside of Chicago in Willowbrook on the 18th of June, where 22 people were injured. And so that's a lot of mass shootings. But I do have to say, I haven't seen anything official on this, but just my calculations looking back at 2022, I actually think we're probably down year to date versus where that was, and especially down February to July, because there was a ton of stuff in January.
I don't know. It's just no respect for life. I don't know. Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glaze, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/real life. That's GOBBLE.com/real life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had. Hey, y'all, changing my wardrobe from summer to fall, it's never easy. Luckily, Quince offers timeless and high-quality items I adore, ensuring my wardrobe stays fresh and I don't blow my budget. And there's nothing easier than going to Quince and choosing these high-quality items, like cashmere sweaters from $50, pants for every occasion, washable silk tops, and so much more. The best part? All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes, and I love that. I got the stainless steel Link Apple Watch band for $59.90. It's heavy duty, it's awesome, and it's like $100 less than I could find anywhere else. And I also got a 100% organic cotton fisherman quarter zip up sweater. The color is alabaster. Man, I can't wait to wear that this fall. And Cindy got the Mongolian cashmere boat neck sweater in heather gray. And I'm telling you, these are classic pieces at a fraction of the price. Make switching seasons a breeze with Quince's high-quality closet essentials. Go to quince.com/RLRC for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/RLRC to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/RLRC. You'll thank me later.
There's some bad people covered in this report, that's for sure.
Well, real life, real crime.
All right, a Texas man has shot and killed 2 people he said tried to rob him at an ATM in San Antonio. The shooting happened just before noon on Friday at a Chase Bank. A man drove up to an ATM to withdraw money and saw two people approach him who he believed were trying to rob him. The man then shot the two men, killing both of them. It was a robbery that didn't go well for the robbers, police said.
That's not.
It's unknown if the robbers had weapons. Police are speaking with the man, and no charges are expected to be filed at this point. In a statement, police said he's the victim of a robbery and was acting in self-defense. The victim and the suspects are believed to all be in their 20s. Important thing to note out of all this is the ATM safety is really getting just out of hand with people getting robbed at these ATMs. Now, in this case, it was a kind of a vigilante. He kind of saved himself.
Yeah.
And that, I'm sure, is a part of remaining alert when you're at an area, especially if you're
walking up to ATM, you better believe I'm looking all around.
Yeah, I mean, you're withdrawing money.
Right.
And daytime only.
Back in the day, it used to be the stop and robs. Now it's the ATMs. I mean, somebody's going to ATM, they're going to take out cash. It's an easy mark.
Yeah, and people will actually stake them out and just wait for that person that 9 o'clock at night remembers they need cash for the next morning.
And they're not looking around when they get out. They're running up to the ATM for whatever reason, not looking, and an easy mark.
What time of day was that one?
It was just before noon.
Yeah. So that's again, it doesn't matter what time of day. You got to have your head on a swivel. Actually, if you're going to pull up to an ATM, especially if you get out of the car to go to ATM, look at the parking lot, look around, and if you get that little feeling inside your gut, listen to it.
Well, and I love the attitude of Texas, in some ways, to just say, hey, man, this guy was acting in self-defense.
Absolutely was.
It's kind of open and closed.
You have a right to defend yourself.
Yep.
Well, I think well-trafficked locations in daylight is two good habits to have with that if you have to you have to use an ATM.
Agreed.
Well, y'all remember the story the other day about the lady that was 69-year-old lady who was attacked and killed by the 10-foot alligator?
Sure.
In South Carolina, Hilton Head. Well, I was shocked to learn that a year and a half earlier, an 82-year-old woman had been attacked within a few feet of that same spot, and she was also walking her dog, like the victim last week. Amazingly, the 82-year-old survived the attack, and so did her pup. Elise Kyle was walking her Chihuahua Dachshund mix, Lulu, near her home in Hilton Head, South Carolina, when a huge alligator suddenly snapped at her legs. She said, I tried to run away, but I lost my footing. The gator leapt out of the water and bit down across my legs. That was the first bite. I was so much in shock, I didn't feel any pain. It sounded like a massive crack. Well, lucky for Elsie, her neighbors Mary Montour and Lane Carver heard her cries and rushed toward her. Miss Montour said she ran outside, adding, I thought she fell in, but as I'm pulling her, she started screaming, an alligator is biting my leg off. As Miss Montour pulled Miss Kyle's arms, Mr. Carver ran over to help and hit the gator over the head 3 times with a spade. I guess he was gardening. Mr. Carver said the gator had her pretty good, but he hit it as hard as he could to knock it out. Well, I'm pretty sure that didn't happen, but at least he got the gator's attention. Hilton Head Island Fire Rescue and local police officer rushed to the scene. The gator was removed from the area and euthanized. Miss Kyle's dog Lulu was not harmed, Miss Jerry Ann. I know you're listening. Miss Kyle was rushed to the hospital where she underwent several reconstructive surgeries to fit metal rods into her legs, and doctors performed skin grafts. And despite being unfortunate to have survived, she can no longer walk unaided. Anyway, she said, I can't even begin to tell you what I've gone through. The gator didn't kill me, but he certainly took away what I had left of a normal life. The orthopedic surgeon thought he might have to remove her legs, but he said she was an 80-year-old miracle. Miss Kyle, who has lived in Hilton Head Island for 28 years, is now assisted by her daughter, Maria, who cares for her everyday needs. And then, as mentioned, I reported just a few days ago about the attack on Holly Jenkins, 69, who was killed by the 10-foot gator. The attack took place about 30 feet away from where Miss Kyle was attacked, right? Just crazy. Alligator encounters and attacks have increased in recent years across the U.S., especially in Florida and South Carolina. South Carolina went years without having an alligator attack until 2022, when the state reported 5 alligator attacks in the year, 2 of which were fatal. And in Florida, alligator attacks have increased from around 6 per year from 1971 through 86 to nearly 10 per year from 87 to 2017, according to the game wardens. As population and development increased in Florida, scientists say so have alligator attacks. And as the human population encroaches on the habitat of alligators, attacks and nuisance complaints increase.
Wow.
Okay, well, how about that, whatever it is, community checks that lake or whatever the heck it is and gets all the gators out? I mean, 2 people in 18 months.
They're still going to come back. I mean, somebody might have fed them something or whatever. A 10-foot gator is big, okay? But you never have that problem in my neighborhood because it had been fried.
Brave, 80 years old, the gator bites her legs, and she said she didn't even
he's
feel
trying
pain.
to drag in the water. They don't kill you right away. They tell they drown you, and then they hide you, and they go back and they eat off of you.
And those are some pretty brave friends to come to her aid like that.
I believe you'd have done the same thing.
Well, I believe that if I had a dog in that community, I'd be walking him on the other side of that street from now on. And maybe carrying some kind of weapon with me as I did it. Talk about creeps, first class creeps. This guy tops the list. I'm talking about Larry Nasser, and he got a little bit of what he had coming to him
Prison justice.
Yesterday. Child molester Larry Nasser was stabbed multiple times. I think it was 10. It was the latest I had heard. In the federal prison where he was sent to rot for sexually assaulting hundreds of gymnasts, including gold medal winning Olympians. Nasser, who's now 59, was stabbed twice in the neck, twice in the back, and 6 times in the chest. There, I got it right. 10.
Prisons call that jugging. They jugged him.
Shanked him.
Shanked him, jugged him.
Shanked him, jugged him. And 6 times in the chest on Sunday afternoon at the Federal Correctional Complex Coleman in Central Florida. He was listed in stable condition despite suffering a collapsed lung. He's lucky to be alive, said Local 506 President Joe Rojas, who's worked at the prison for nearly 30 years. Still, the union leader stressed that while Nasser was listed as being in stable condition, that could change given that it appears several vital organs were hit with what he characterized as an unsanitized makeshift metal weapon, which you would call
because you're going to get a scalpel that's surgically, whatever, and sanitized and whatever. You're in prison for being a fucking rapist. I hope they did it with a dull spoon.
Well, it sounds like it was something close to that. So far it's unclear how it happened or why it happened. This is, again, according to that union president Rojas. While noting the notorious pedophile usually only mingles with other sex offenders.
Right.
So they've got their own little clique of sex offenders in the prison. He's already been here since 2018, and we've never had an incident with him before. However, it came just 2 weeks after staff protested over alarming levels of understaffing, which Rojas said was prophetic of such an attack. We called this, we said it was going to happen at some point, and it did. The FBI was notified, and an internal investigation is ongoing, according to the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Spokesperson Donald Murphy said. Murphy, who refused to discuss who was responsible for the attack inside the high-security prison that houses more than 1,200 male inmates. It prompted Nasser's first known victim to release a statement, which wasn't a statement of sympathy, by the way, in case you were thinking that's what it was. She said, she she was calling on prison officials to better protect Nasser so he can, quote, face the severe prison sentence he received and avoid, quote, an easy out. This assault on Nasser brings no peace to me personally or to the survivors I've spoken to today. This is Sarah Klein, who was among his first victims, who is now a civil and trial attorney that represents sexual abuse victims. The incident forces us to vividly relive our abuse and trauma at the hands of Nasser and the institutions, including law enforcement, that protected him and allowed him to prey on children. I urge the Department of Justice and Bureau of Prisons to see that Nasser is not allowed to escape his sentence and consequences of his horrible crime. So there you go. She doesn't want him killed in prison. She wants him to suffer and have to live out his sentence.
He's doing both now.
He's doing both, yeah. So more than 300 girls and women, including famous Olympians Simone Biles, Allie Raceman, were accused of the former Michigan State University sports doctor of sexually abusing them under the guise of medical treatment. We've all heard that story with his unusual through the vagina massage technique. He eventually admitted sexually assaulting athletes at the university as well as those with USA Gymnastics. It ended up costing $500 million to Michigan State and another $380 million to USA Gymnastics and the U.S. Olympic team. Nasser's case stands in stark contrast to a case that's often referenced when Nasser's case is discussed, and that is the case of the Penn State scandal with Jerry Sandusky. What are you doing? Guys, stop. Important that this gets said. I'm not going to take a bunch of time up with it, but I just encourage anyone who wants to know the truth about that story to listen to a series I produced called With the Benefit of Hindsight.
All right, so the prime suspect in the 1982 Tylenol murders has been found dead in his Massachusetts apartment. And look, y'all, if you wonder why when you open up medicine jars and things like
Most
that.
People don't remember that. While they have child safety seals and everything else on, they don't remember back in that. I know Mike remembers it back then.
I
was
remember.
none of that.
I was
shit.
50.
Right.
You could also smoke on airplanes and no TSA and all that shit.
Well,
the world changed.
cigarettes didn't cause cancer back then.
Right. Hey, they smoked on TV back then.
Yeah, they sure did. Well,
I'm sorry. Can I tell a story real quick?
Sure.
It's really short. But when I was back in New York, I was with my mother and her older sister, who is 3 years older. She's 91, and my mother. And I asked my aunt, her sister, when she stopped smoking. And she said, well, I've never smoked. I never started. And my mother smoked for years. And so I turned to my mother and I said, so why the heck did you start? Your sister never smoked. And she goes, I didn't start until I was pregnant with your sister.
That's funny. Well,
that's the way it was back in the
Take
day.
it one step further real quick. My mama tells a story every year on my birthday when she had me in the hospital. The men had to wait out in the room, and my dad got sick or whatever, and he went home, and my mom wanted a cigarette. Back then you could smoke in the hospital room. And he said, will you call my husband, tell him to bring me a pack of cigarettes? And he called back and came back in. The nurse said, your husband said for you to bum one. But anyway, back to it.
Okay, James Lewis was found unresponsive on Sunday just after 4 p.m. He was 76 and was pronounced dead shortly after. Police said his death was determined to be not suspicious. Basically,
Tylenol poison?
Unfortunately not. In 1982, 7 people in the greater Chicago area alone died after taking Tylenol laced with cyanide. Yep. Soon after, a man wrote an extortion letter to Johnson & Johnson and its subsidiary, the maker of Tylenol, demanding $1 million to stop the killings, which back at that time was big money. Right. The man who wrote the letter was James Lewis. He would later spend 12 years in prison for attempted extortion. He was never charged with murder. Police said this is a frustrating day for law enforcement who've been investigating this case for decades. Officials felt they had sufficient circumstantial evidence for Lewis to be charged. However, he never was. On September 29th of 1982, a 12-year-old girl in Elk Grove Village had a cold, so she took 2 Tylenol capsules before going to school. She collapsed and died. 6 more people would die in the days to come after taking Tylenol, and officials soon pieced together the pills were laced with cyanide. As fear and panic shot across Chicago and the country, officials didn't yet know how widespread the poisonings were. And without the existence of social media, y'all, and other forms of mass communication, they had to warn the community to prevent others from taking the popular drug by literally going door to door and disseminating flyers.
I remember that shit.
This was way before social media.
Right.
Former Assistant U.S. District Attorney Jeremy Marglos, who prosecuted Lewis for attempted extortion, said in a statement that he was saddened to learn of Lewis's death, not because he's dead, but because he didn't die in prison. How you like that? Former U.S. Assistant U.S. Attorney. So Lewis was living at the same Cambridge, Massachusetts apartment he moved into after being released from prison. Boom. Prison. He was really the only living known person of interest and had not been seen or heard from in more than a decade. So
proving he extorted them didn't prove that he was the one.
They knew he wrote the letter. They couldn't prove that he was. Maybe he was just trying to get the $1 million.
His defense would have said, he was taking advantage of the situation. There's another crazy out there doing the poison. But it's so strange. I remember that. My daddy always watched the evening news every evening, and
I remember it as well.
Craziness, y'all. Let's go back to Cali. Remember the story we had a couple months ago back. Doctor who put his whole family in a car and drove the Tesla off off the cliff, and the best part of that story was what's his name? Elon Musk built such a car that can go off a 150-foot cliff. Anyway, this idiot doctor is what we knew he was going to do. He's asking for a mental health diversion to avoid being sentenced to prison. So his name is Dr. Patel. He's 41 years old, and he's charged with 3 counts of first-degree attempted murder. That's for putting your whole family in a car and driving them off the cliff. And basically now it was called Devil's Slide near California Highway 1. It was his wife, his 4-year-old son, and his 7-year-old, and they all survived the crash. And, of course, his lawyers are saying he needs mental health diversion and all this bullshit. That's standard, right? But murder and voluntary manslaughter suspects are excluded from the diversion program, but attempted murder is not explicitly ruled out. After the program is complete, the court decides that the previous charge would be reinstated. Patel's wife maintains her husband had told the family he was going to drive off the cliff before the incident, and he claimed that his his Tesla Model Y was having tire issues when he drove off. I'm sorry, it was a 250-foot cliff. From the top of the Mississippi River Bridge to the water in Baton Rouge is 150 fucking feet. 250 feet is a long ways, dude. So anyway,
and none of them even got hurt, right? I mean,
they had some injuries, but they didn't die.
I think they were bad ones.
He personally drove off the cliff. He can go fuck himself. That's all I have to say about that story.
He told his wife he was going to do it, and then she got in the car with him?
Well, no, he told him after they were in the car. He said, I'm going to drive off the cliff. I'm depressed. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to kill all of us.
And now, is she supporting this?
No. She's saying he's full of shit. And he said, he's trying to say, my tires or whatever. Okay. He's not anymore talking about, fuck you, Patel.
Yeah, I'm thinking that the kids and mom need to stay very, very far away from
2-year-old, 4-year-old, and your wife.
And do you automatically lose your medical license if you
I would assume that there's procedures for the boards in each state. You get convicted of a felony, you're done.
I mean, I just hope even if the guy if they decide to throw the guy in
Louisiana, because I used to have the physician examiner board's contract to test all of the docs that got in trouble. But you got convicted of felony, you're done.
Well, crazy
story.
Let's go to Georgia. We haven't been to Georgia in a while. Did you guys get into the Halloween egging of people's houses? And
we used to, not the houses so much, some, but we used to do up our trucks with chicken wire, and I'd buy like a case of eggs weeks before Halloween so they'd be riding, and we had running vehicle fights. Of course, it was a small town in Clinton. There was no red lights or anything, but we'd have like 6 or 7 trucks, and it was pretty brutal. You get hit in the head with a riding egg at 40 miles an hour. Yeah.
I used to make shit bombs.
Yeah, I did that too.
Just kidding.
But in your experience, you don't get angry enough in an egg fight to pull out a gun.
No.
Yeah. Well, on July 3rd in Spalding County, Georgia. I don't know where Spalding County is.
It's in Georgia.
Good answer, Jim. Yes, it is. Sheriff's deputies responded to a call about a, quote, man down on the 100 block of Dobbins Mills Road and found a white male dead on the ground from an apparent gunshot wound. Police used a fingerprint scan and identified the victim as Jonathan Gilbert. It appears that there was an ongoing lover's quarrel, and the suspects decided to go to Gilbert's residence and vandalize it by egging it. This is according to Sheriff Darrell Dix. When Gilbert saw the suspects egging his house, he came out of the house unarmed to confront them. The suspects raced back to their car, and as Gilbert approached them, Sidney Mahan, a backseat passenger in the car, produced a firearm and shot him multiple times.
There you go.
The suspects then drove away, leaving Gilbert in the middle of the road to die. Shortly after, investigators located a witness who provided them with information related to the shooting, which allegedly created a direct link between the victims and between the victim and the suspects. Based on that information, investigators found a cell phone number tied to one of the suspects and tracked it to a location in Henry County, which is also in Georgia.
Spalding is south of Atlanta. I just looked it up.
They searched the area and found a vehicle they allege was involved in the shooting, parked at a residence where they believed the suspects were living or staying, and they got a search warrant, and that was the end of it. Jeremy Munson, 18, Mackenzie Davenport, 19, as well as Mahan, who's also 18, were all arrested. Mahan is charged with murder, malice murder, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, battery, family violence, and criminal trespass. The others all have similar crap, and all of this over some kind of jealousy, dispute, love affair thing, and it started with egging the guy's house. Just
sounds
completely freaking ridiculous.
Sounds like a Netflix special. Yeah.
Probably.
That's crazy. Spalding, Georgia.
Spalding, Georgia. I wonder if that's where the tennis balls and all that come from.
I thought about that, but it has 67,000 people and it's south of Atlanta by about an hour or so.
Wow. Shout out Spalding. To all our Spalding listeners.
Spalding listeners
out there.
Hey, ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone support and supplement. It's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's HAPPYMAMMOTH.com and use code RLRC. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts to spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of an LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdowns scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids, to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary.
You can now take off that belt and move freely around the cabin.
Alrighty then. Another Mile High crime for Thursday.
Stop Mile High.
Look, this one is going to really disturb people. Came across it yesterday and it just occurred. 3 TSA officers were arrested at a Miami International Airport for stealing from passengers during security screenings.
Really?
And I work, when I go through these things, I'm keeping an eye on my bucket. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't trust nobody, but don't trust the TSA officers either. Not that they're all bad, but these 3 for sure. 22-year-old Elizabeth Fuster, 33-year-old Labarius Williams, and 20-year-old Jose Gonzalez were all arrested on Thursday of charges involving an organized scheme to defraud. The airport federal security director for law enforcement at Miami International Airport contacted Miami-Dade police regarding thefts involving the officers. The investigation revealed 3 officers while on duty were seen on surveillance video conspiring together to distract passengers as they were being screened and stole money from their belongings.
Crazy.
Due to the security concerns, the detective immediately researched the thefts, which revealed a recent case that was previously opened by police. After watching surveillance video provided by TSA, the detective saw Fuster, Williams, and Gonzalez remove $600 from a passenger's wallet while they were being screened.
And then they're trying to haul ass to get you through, so you probably, and then you got 400 motherfuckers behind you trying
That's
to get
right.
your
You're trying
belt
to
and
put your
everything
shoes
back
on.
Yeah.
And your wallet, your wallet's steady going down the thing, and they pulled $600 out of that wallet. Additionally, all 3 were seen on several other incidents conspiring to commit more theft. So one's telling the other, you distract them and I'm gonna go for the wallet. Following a formal interview at the TSA Command Center, Gonzalez and Fuster waived their rights and provided written statements confessing their actions, but Williams did not waive his rights and refused to speak. He might be the smart one of the three, right? All three were transported to the airport station to be processed before being sent to Turner Guilford Detention Center without incident.
I bet you everybody in line clapped when they put him in handcuffs, because I don't know of anybody who likes a TSA officer, right?
Yeah, I hate it when, man, I'm telling you, when I pull that wallet out, now I'm paranoid as it is with people going through it. I got one condom in there. That's it.
From 1979.
Oh, at least it's all melted.
You got the big ring in it.
Finally get to use this thing.
Well,
the Anaconda only freestyles.
So speaking of condoms.
We got a kinky crime coming your way.
Kinky crimes for Thursday, y'all. We've done some great ones, but this might be one of the best. So, police arrested a 50-year-old man after he was allegedly found tied to a tree, blindfolded, and waiting for anonymous sex in a Minnesota park.
Ooh.
Right? Ramsey police found Alan Peterson in the park Thursday evening. Officer said he had blindfolded himself and tied his wrists and ankles to two trees.
Oh, my God.
Exposing his genitals. Now, think about that.
That's a kinky sucker there, boy.
Right? But blindfolded himself, stripped down, spreads himself out, ties himself to trees, and he's waiting on strangers. But anyway, however, the idea of strangers meeting at the park to engage in sex is nothing new to police chief June May, like my original Real Life Real Crime episode, Glory Hole. He says it's been going on for at least 10 years now. Peterson's arrest, however, was one of the most bizarre cases his department has seen. A park goer saw Peterson tied at 4 points. Y'all, just imagine spread that. Eagle. 4 points to two trees. Both his wrists and ankles were bound, and he was described as sitting on a sling. By the time police arrived, Peterson was gone, but officers found the rope and sling. They also found pornographic materials in Peterson's car, and as they were about to tow it, Peterson turned himself in and admitted to using slip knots to tie himself up. Park goer Ruth Grussing and Peterson said Peterson's actions are disrespectful to others, you think? If you want to do that, do it someplace private, she said.
Don't do it. Just do it someplace private. She might be a little kinky herself.
She said, Way said some of the men that meet there have been arrested 6 times, but they keep coming back. They use signals such as turning on the lights or rolling their windows halfway down to show other men they are interested.
What?
And the glory hole, in the bathroom, they stomp their foot 3 times, right? But a public park means families are there too. For Way, that's a major concern. When you bring your family down there, this is not the conduct you want to see. Peterson could face a charge of indecent exposure, which is a misdemeanor. Way encourages park goers to report such behavior immediately. And there is your kinky crime.
That sucker's kinky.
He could be done criminal too, right?
Yeah, he could.
What's how much sling is for? So you don't fall down and your legs get tired when you get.
I guess.
Get into the poop.
Blindfolded himself. And just sat there.
Bring it on. Give me your best.
Freaking people, man. Kinky.
Kinky.
I'm trying to wipe that story off of me,
right,
out of my memory banks.
But it's banjo time.
It is time for banjo. And we're going to go to the desert, to the great state of Arizona, for this little segment of Dumb Criminals. A bungling felon from Arizona made a series of blunders when he shot himself in the testicles and tried to hide the weapon, all while stashing drugs up his ass.
There you go.
The hell?
That's a trifecta. Powerful.
Right?
Christopher James Watson, age 26, was carrying a pistol in his front pocket while in his Mesa, Arizona apartment on June 5th when the firearm accidentally discharged and pierced his groin and thigh. You know what piercing his groin means, right?
Yeah, right.
Watson
blew his balls off.
Watson, who has yes, 1 followed by a 4, prior convictions, instructed his girlfriend to dispose of the weapon before heading to the hospital. When the ex-con finally went to the hospital, a balloon of marijuana slipped out of his ass while a doctor was operating on his gunshot wound.
Oh, my God. You could take me to the hospital. First of all, they're going to know it's a gunshot wound from the stiffling because that close contact, his balls are now tattooed forever. But you can't take a dime bag of marijuana out of your ass?
So, cops arrived at the hospital because they were notified of the gunshot wound by, I guess, hospital surgeons, nurses, whatever, and searched Watson's car, where they discovered a bag of meth in the blood-stained jeans he was wearing when he shot himself. The officers issued an arrest warrant for Watson, and he turned himself into police on June 18th. As he was being processed at Maricopa County Detention Center.
Like a meth lab fell out of his ass.
As he was being strip searched, another balloon of marijuana fell out of his ass. While in jail, Watson made a number of calls to his girlfriend and asked her not to cooperate with investigators working on his case. Of course, authorities were listening. Of course. Everything's
recorded.
Those
Big
calls.
ass fucking sign right on your phone. And your conversation is being recorded.
Our genius IQ felon was charged with possession of a firearm, unlawful possession of meth, possession of a controlled substance in a correction facility, and 4 counts of tampering with a witness. He's being held on $200,000 bail and is due back in court on August 15th. And let's hope that nothing pops out of his ass that day.
I think he needs to be nominated for the All Woody team. You shoot yourself in the balls.
I don't know if he's all Woody qualified.
Well, I mean,
you got to kill somebody to be an all Woody team.
Why would you not hide the meth in your car? The meth should have been up your ass. The marijuana is a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, you let a balloon of marijuana come out of your ass and when you're under anesthesia?
Dumbass.
Okay, my biggest question here is, what kind of a wonderful woman is dating this fucking guy?
Someone that's addicted to his shit.
She's got to be a winner.
That's crazy.
That's a dumb criminal. There's no doubt about it.
I wouldn't smoke that guy's pot. I mean, there's no telling how much his pot's been up his ass.
Yeah, he's got to be the dumbest son of a bitch you've ever told a story about.
Stole what? They stole what? How about a giant 15-foot spoon? Don't try to copy my
spoon.
A giant 15-foot spoon, Woody Overton, a nightmare, or rather a brain freeze for a pair of Dairy Queen franchise owners involving a giant red spoon has finally come to an end. Phoenix, Arizona resident Michael Foster made the discovery while he was out for a mobile game-based walk around his neighborhood. He was an avid Pokemon Go player. 52 years old.
Really?
He was playing. Yes. He was hunting for his next great catch when he made a rare discovery, a giant 15-foot spoon from a local Dairy Queen. He found the spoon in a field of a middle school less than 2 miles from the Dairy Queen location where it was stolen, just sitting in the grass.
Got tired of carrying that fucker.
Raymond Calara is the owner of the Dairy Queen Grill and Chill in Phoenix, Arizona, where the large statue attracts Blizzard fans and Instagram lovers alike who take pictures with the giant spoon. The couple have been asking for help locating the oversized red spoon that adorned the front of the restaurant before it was stolen by 3 individuals a few days ago. The trio was caught on surveillance video manipulating the screws. This thing was screwed into place, removed it from the awning that held it by its handle, and carried it away, driving off with the huge utensil only to abandon it nearby. The spoon burglars are still at large. We're kind of upset but puzzled, the owner said. What are they going to do with a giant spoon? The couple reported the theft to the Phoenix police at the time, who Foster called to report the spoon's location. Now, that means the Calars don't have to get another spoon made, delivered, and installed, which, believe it or not, is estimated to be around $7,000.
Crazy.
Wow.
Hey, wait, how far
Expensive spoon.
is Mesa, Arizona from Phoenix?
Oh, it's a suburb of Phoenix.
Well, then they might have been bringing it to that dumb fucking criminal. to cook up some heroin.
Dig it out his ass.
7 feet. He would try to get that up his ass.
Sideways. Yeah.
Well, it's just, a prank to those guys, but you don't realize that would be a $7,000 prank
lick.
to a business owner.
Yeah, even if you haven't taken
Think about what you're stealing.
That's a good one, Jim.
They stole what? Giant spoons.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Hey, real quick, overwhelming responses to the RLRC daily comments. If you go to Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts and leave RLRC Daily a review, take a screenshot of it, send it in. Like, we're going to go 2 more weeks. 3 people are going to win, and y'all are killing it. I love it. Good, bad, or indifferent. You still get entered into the drawing. So thank you for doing it.
Mike doesn't want to do the indifferent people for the drawing.
Well, I tell you what.
I joke.
In January,
I like the different people, not the indifferent.
Yeah. Pick a side.
I'm with that one. It's all good.
Until next time, I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Woody Overton. And that's our buddy, Ago.
And I'm just fucking lost.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.
Show business.